Welcome to My Vision News. Some news stories for you. First one is from Eritrea. Eritrean Information Ministry today issued a statement criticizing an article published by the Bloomberg on the 30th of November. Eritrean embassy in the US has also issued a statement about the article published by the Bloomberg. Secondly, a Tigrayan activist who has been very active in Tigrayan diaspora's campaign of internationalizing Tigray conflict has been shot dead in the US. Who is he? And thirdly, Somalia, where an operation against Al Shabaab is ongoing, and government forces today made some major territorial gains in Middle Shabelle, a city under the control of Al Shabaab since 2016 has been retaken by government forces. We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, Eritrean Information Ministry and Eritrean Embassy in the US issued statements today. The statements are about an article published by the Bloomberg on the 30th of November, just around 4 days ago. 4 days ago, Bloomberg, international news outlet based in the US, claimed that Eritrean troops were committing atrocities against civilians in Tigray and that Eritrean military's activities were a threat to the peace agreement signed at the start of November in Pretoria between TPLF and Ethiopian federal government. In today's statement, Eritrean Information Ministry accused TPLF of starting the conflict in Ethiopia. The ministry said that it was TPLF which attacked Northern Command bases in Tigray on the 3rd of November, and thousands of government soldiers, ENDF soldiers, were allegedly slaughtered by Tigray forces, and Tigray fighters wanted a regime change in Ethiopia and Eritrea. But international news outlets, they keep on backing TPLF. They whitewash TPLF's crimes, but they accuse Eritrea of creating instability in the region. The ministry claims that Eritrea has a very clear regional policy. It respects sovereignty and territorial integrity of its neighbors, and wars were imposed on Eritrea, but Eritrea believes in peaceful coexistence with its neighbors. Whenever international news outlets publish some material about Eritrean military, about atrocities being committed by Eritrean military, we see such general statements by Eritrean Information Ministry or Yemane Gebremeskel, Eritrean Information Minister. We have not seen any specific response from the ministry. Why is that the ministry never addresses the allegations specifically? If allegations are against Eritrean military that in this or that area they are committing atrocities, why is that a general statement is issued and allegations are not addressed? That is what I have been seeing for the last 2 years. That a general statement issued, but allegations are not properly countered by Eritrean government. We have seen that in several cases in the past too. So, by issuing a statement, the government believes that people will believe that Eritrean military is part of no atrocities being committed in Tigray. If you want to clarify your position, then the government should address the allegations specifically. All allegations should be addressed one by one. That is how you can counter them. Otherwise, general statements won't be convincing. Bloomberg, other news outlets, they always share some evidence. They share names of places, individuals. They cite some evidence. So, what evidence does Eritrean government have when it is rejecting Bloomberg's story? No evidence, just a statement. Secondly, viewers, a Tigrayan diaspora member who has been an activist, very active in organizing protests in support of Tigray's position about the war, has been shot dead in the US. Emmanuel Legash is the name of this activist. 42 years old, Emmanuel Legash was living in Dallas, USA. And on Thursday, he was shot dead. Bullet holes were found in the door to his apartment. So he was shot dead inside his apartment, maybe from outside, not in public. Police is investigating the case. So far, no arrests have been made, and police is requesting that if people have any information, they should contact local Dallas police. Thirdly, we are Somalia, where an operation against Al-Shabaab is underway. Long operation, sustained effort is needed because Al-Shabaab has tremendous reach. It can hit anywhere in Somalia. It hit Mogadishu's high security zone a few days ago. A hotel was hit just a few meters away from presidential palace in Somalia. So it can reach presidential palace too. First major gain by Somalia's forces in Middle Shabelle region is being confirmed. In Middle Shabelle, there is Adan Yabal town, one of the two key towns in Middle Shabelle, which have been under Al-Shabaab for around 5 years now. Al-Shabaab took control of Adan Yabal in 2016, around 6 years ago. Since then, it was a stronghold of Al-Shabaab in Middle Shabelle. But government forces, federal forces, regional forces, they have been fighting to take control of this town for several days. Now, reportedly, Al-Shabaab fighters, they have retreated from Adan Yabal town in Middle Shabelle, around 240 kilometers away from Mogadishu is this town situated. Government forces have not entered the town. Why? Because there could be landmines planted in the town. That is why government forces are surrounding the town. Al-Shabaab retreated, and gradually landmines will be cleared, and then government forces will enter the town Adan Yabal in Middle Shabelle. Federal forces, local fighters, local militias all launched this joint offensive on Al-Shabaab in Adan Yabal. Hassan Sheikh government is continuing its counter offensives against Al-Shabaab, and though the pace is slow, but he has succeeded in creating unity behind this operation. We have heard a few splits as well, but mainly Hassan Sheikh government has managed to form a national narrative that military solution is the only solution at this point of time. Talks could be held maybe later, but now a joint concerted military effort is needed, and that is what seems to be happening. Regional forces, federal forces, newly formed local militias, tribal elders, they are on the same page. They are sacrificing their lives too. We know that top government officials, police officials, they are being targeted by Al-Shabaab fighters. Somalia's security minister was wounded in the attack on a hotel, a Villa Rose hotel, a few days ago. Before that, Farhan Karole, Mogadishu police commander, was assassinated in an ID attack by Al-Shabaab fighters. So, government officials, politicians, they are laying down their lives, but still they are continuing this effort against Al-Shabaab. They don't want to surrender. Hassan Sheikh government is leading, and so far we can say that though pace is slow, but gradually government forces are trying to corner Al-Shabaab. Though it's a long way to go because Al-Shabaab in control of around 1/3 of Somalia. Regional players, world power should support Somalia. Somalia needs international support, which is not being given to Somalia, I think so. Because if the government fails, if this operation fails, Al-Shabaab will spread into neighboring countries too, into Ethiopia, which it tried to do a few months ago. Al-Shabaab tried to enter Somali region of Ethiopia. It was fighting inside Ethiopia, but Somali special force managed to push Al-Shabaab out of the region. In Kenya, we know that Al-Shabaab carries out attacks regularly. So it's a regional threat, not just threat to Somalia. What is needed is regional support for Somalia, international support too, because Al-Shabaab fighters in Somalia, they have links with other groups operating in Africa, in other parts of the world. So this extremism will spill out of Somalia, which it is already, which is happening already. It will spiral out of Somalia into neighboring countries and far away from Somalia. That is why international effort is needed, which is happening to a limited extent. I think Somalia's government is in need of financial support, military support. Somalia needs to have a strong, unified army. All sanctions should be lifted, but the pace of support for Somalia is slow. But good thing is that government is continuing this offensive against Al-Shabaab fighters in different parts of Somalia. First major gain by government forces in Middle Shabelle. Thank you for watching.